Hello, collective, and welcome to an update to the Mercury Retrograde energy. I have been contacted by so many people asking me to explain what is going on with this crazy energy. I have been booked pretty solid with people. So just wanting me to read specific energy cards for them and see what's going on, specifically what's going on for them. What I'm going to do though today is do a general reading just so we can look at an update and see what's going on. I am finished with my class. I'm pretty sure I got an A out of that class, so thank you for waiting. I appreciate that very much. And it has been a crazy retrograde for myself. So we will move on into the energy and see what's going on. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look into the energy of the Mercury retrograde specifically. It is in Gemini. It is at home in Gemini. I've heard that Geminis should be having an easier time. I've had... it seems like it from what my best friend who's a Gemini has said, and she seems like she's doing pretty good. So, but this is a general reading and will not resonate with every single person. The energies can be reversed, so assign the roles as you please. Remember, if it doesn't resonate with you, you can just stick around. So here it is. With the retrograde, if you had looked at the calendar before in the last video or the retrograde video, there was a dark pink. That's where we are right now. And so it's stronger energy, and it will be until Monday. Now, we'll still be in the retrograde, so you still need to be careful, but it's a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit of a break, because it's not a constant crazy energy. It comes in spurts. It comes big, and then it'll release a little bit, and then at the end of the month, there'll be another strong pink energy again, and then it turns around, and then bam, we're in the shadow period. And the shadow period is just, it can be some of the same stuff coming up again, but not as strong. So I know some of you guys are really emotional. I've heard from my friends. I've heard that past pain is coming back up, or past insecurities, what did I just talk to somebody today, and they just basically said they're just really emotional. My Gemini friend, she hasn't had anything like that I know of, but she did have some past people coming back. So yeah, the past comes back a lot, whether it's people or events. You know, like if it's a debt that you owed once, you may get that debt back again, and you know, you may have to fight it and be like, I already paid this debt, and so weird stuff like that happens. So like today, for me, I had jury duty that I was trying to get out of, by the way. I wanted to go swimming instead with my children. But so I was driving down there, and there was an accident on the road, and it was blocking the freeway. So I had to go a completely different way to get to the freeway, to go downtown, to go to the courthouse where I've never been. And, you know, when you go to someplace new, it's like you feel like, I don't even know where I'm going. I don't even know this place. Where exactly do I park? All this stuff. So I was feeling kind of I was talking to my friend on the phone, and I was like, oh, I just don't even know what I'm doing. She's like, I know. I feel the same way when that happens to me. So I get there, and there's nobody in the parking lot. And I'm like, am I parked in the wrong spot? So I just went ahead and parked at a parking meter. I get out, and I noticed that has like 30 minutes on it. This is just a weird retrograde thing that happens. So it was like 30 minutes on it. And I'm like, okay, so I want to put more time on it because I don't know how long I'm going to be in the jury duty stuff, right? So I go to put my debit card in, and it won't take it. So I'm like, okay, so I'm sliding it a bunch of times, and it won't go in. It won't take it. So I was like, oh, I forgot. And it's interesting because right before I was leaving, I got this intuition that I needed to bring some quarters, right? So I was like, oh, I should have listened to my intuition. I was so mad at myself. I was like, oh, I should have listened to myself. And so I'm like, because I need quarters. I'm like, okay, great. So, and it was windy, and it was kind of like a cold wind. Even though it was a beautiful day, it was this cold wind was like touching me, and I was like, ugh. I was so like mad because I didn't want to be there, and I had to park, and I didn't know what I was doing, right? So I go into the court and to get like some quarters. I was like, the police were there, so I was gonna say, hey, you know, don't tow my car or anything, but it's not working. I don't know what's up with your meter, you know. So I put my stuff in to go through the metal detector, and he sees my jury summons, and he's like, oh, you don't have jury duty today. I'm like, of course I don't. Of course I don't. Of course I drove down here in crazy traffic where everybody's driving nutty. You know, of course I don't, right? And I was like, oh, well, that's probably why there's no cars in the parking lot. And I was looking around like, what are there, 2 jurors on this jury duty? What's going on here? They were laughing and stuff, and we're having a good time. Me and the police having a great time. They were so happy though to tell me I didn't have jury duty. I was like, awesome. I was like, good, because your parking meter's not working out there. So let's get right into this reading. But that's basically how it is. Like, my daughter needed to get a root canal on her front tooth, and she's only 11. I mean, just stuff like that, And I'm going to be traveling during the retrograde. Okay, I have 2 places that I'm cutting here. Interesting. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, well, this is the overall energy. We'll take a look at that in a second. That was an interesting cut. I've never done anything like that. The energy was pretty spot on, though, when I did it. Okay, let's shuffle again. So those are our overall energy cards. I've got to know what's going on because it's just been insane. And my friends are like, please, please, please do a reading, please. Like, when are you going to do the signs readings again? And I'm like, I keep meaning to, but I don't know. So, all right, here we go. Let's get into this energy. Let's see what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And I will clarify as we go. Let me make sure I'm still recording because the retrograde always gets me. Yes, I am. Okay. All right, here we go. Overall energy. Ace of Pentacles, upside down. Okay. Page of Wands, communication, of course. And the 10 of Wands. Interesting. Okay, so those 3 together, let's talk about what that means. So the Ace of Pentacles is about a manifestation, and it is upside down. So let's see. So the Ace of Pentacles upside down is about lost opportunity, and maybe the lack of planning or foresight on somebody's part. Maybe you guys are feeling like there's been a lost opportunity somewhere, and that's what's needing to be looked at. And yeah, I'm feeling that is for sure, because I have some big things going on with me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did I make a big mistake? Did I not do that right? Did I not plan for this right? What is wrong with me? And I'm totally like getting hard on myself over this, emotionally hard on myself. Okay, and then we have the Page of Wands upright, which that's definitely always communication. Always, when I get that card, for me in particular, that is a communication card for me. That is a card of good news, communication, trusting things are coming in. Job offers could be coming in. Remember, if you get a job offer, check those details. And this is also a card of checking details. So there you go right there. Whenever you're in the retrograde, check the details. So for instance, my friend is putting an offer in a house right now. And she's like, what do you think about that? And I'll just tell you what I think about it. I think that, if you're going to do it, don't sign any papers until after, or at least until you're in the shadow period. Don't do it in the heart of the retrograde. I wouldn't sign any contracts. I wouldn't get married during the retrograde or anything like that. I would just totally be like, hey, let's wait like a couple weeks. So I told her, one of the things I learned specifically when I bought my house was the inspection. The person who does the inspection for you is just a general contractor, like a general person. So they're not like, it's not specific to a trade like a plumber or electrician or something like that. So what I told her is if I was going to do anything during the retrograde, and if I was going to have somebody inspect the house during the retrograde, I'd have multiple people do it. So first of all, I would do of course, the general inspection that you do when you buy a home, but I would also do an inspection. I would have a plumber come out, like a licensed plumber come out and look at the plumbing specifically. Just look at the plumbing specifically. They could all do it on the same day. I don't care. But look at this plumbing specifically. Have an AC guy come out, and a HVAC guy come out and look at the heating and the air system, and have the plumber look at the water heater, and have them look at all of the things, because the general person that comes in is trying to look at the entire house. They're not looking at every single plug. They're not looking at every single light like an electrician would. Like, electrician knows what they're were looking for. So I said, why don't you, I said, even if you have to pay $150 for an electrician to come through, it's better than not doing it at all and then having a huge electrician problem or having a huge problem with your plumbing. Like when I moved into this house, there was a bunch of P-traps, so I had to get those all changed underneath the sink. Those are called P-traps, these like flexible accordion looking things, and they're horrible. So you got to get those changed, and we didn't realize it. We just figured that the guy inspecting the house was going to see it. Well, don't just assume that people will see the things that, that are, he's not a plumber. He's not really interested in that. But when we had the plumber come and deal with a different issue that we had, he had told us, you guys got a bunch of P-traps. You shouldn't have those. So we paid to get them all switched. Anyway, so just if you're going to do anything like that, make sure that you really are checking details. This is also a good time, if you have the page energy, it's also a good time to express yourself in writing, and people forget how important this is. And I'm going to tell you that when I got my MRI results, I was very, very nervous that the doctor was going to tell me I had a lot of scarring because I'd had a lot of times in my brain. And so I was really nervous. I didn't even want to do the MRI because it just causes too much anxiety, because it sets me back into the past when I found out that, I was very sick. So what I did is I was writing down what I wanted to happen, like exactly the conversation that I wanted to hear. And it's funny because as soon as I wrote the last sentence and put the period in the book, the doctor called me, like, bam. It was like within moments. I was just like crazy. Like, I was like, oh, this is what I want you to say. I want you to say how amazing it is and whatever. And then I put the period, and then ring, 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 he called. And I was like, oh, and then he said exactly what it is that I wrote down. So remember, that's really a powerful tool. And there was something else. Oh, I won't tell you specifically what happened, but I wanted something in my life to work out a certain way. And although it didn't work out exactly the way I'd written it down, it was almost like the universe was telling me, not yet, but this person is trying really hard to come into your life. They're just not ready yet. And so if they could, this is what they would say. And I got a message from somebody about the same age as that person on my messenger, because I was like, oh, I want, this person to say this, and this to me, and it would be so amazing, And then as soon as I hit a period on my journal, I was like, period. Then all of a sudden I got a message, like ding, like I was like, what's that? And it was like a Facebook message, and it was a person similar to the age of the person that I wanted this to go a certain way with. But I guess that person's not ready. So God sent another person to speak such beautiful words into my heart that somebody I don't even know that well, about the same age. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's cool. So it was kind of like, if your person could say this is what they would say to you. It was just really neat. So sometimes it doesn't work exactly like you wanted to. Like, for instance, I was writing in my journal that I wanted my daughter not to have any problems with her teeth when we go to see the endodontist, and then he's gonna be like, oh, it's wonderful and everything's gorgeous, and that's not exactly what happened. So but what I do know about that energetically, and what I do know about life, and even though I sometimes don't want to hear it myself, is that she has her own life experience. She has her own things that she wanted to experience in this life, and that just so happens to be it. And I can't change things just because I want it to be a specific way when she has her own free will, and her higher self and her life experience says that this is part of her life experience of what she's going to be dealing with. And I get it, because part of the reason why she had the injury is because she didn't listen to her mother. You know what I mean? That day before she went out, I told her, when you go play with this person, they're really rough and they don't mean it, but please be careful. I told her that. I was like, please be careful. And she was like, okay. And like 5 minutes later, she called me because she had busted her mouth. So that's her experience. She has to learn to listen to people, not just her mother, but to people who are giving her sound advice, that are saying, hey, do this, because sometimes she can be a little stubborn, like a little, like, I'm going to do it my way. Okay, well, that's fine. But when God's speaking through people, you should listen. when you're hearing a certain advice and you feel it in your heart that maybe you should listen to it, it's probably because God and your angels and your loved ones in spirit and all these people are trying to pass messages through people who are living on the planet. Okay, let me move on now. But I think that's really important, especially for those people who have children and you want their lives to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect. And you are the right person in their life for exactly what's going on. I'm the right person for my daughter because I had 4 root canals when I was a child, because I was dropped down the stairs and all of my teeth were messed up and they were all dead and ugly my whole life until they finally fell out. And then they were all messed up after that and I had to have braces for 7 years. So I'm the perfect person for her to be in this experience with. Okay, so moving on. So it's a lost opportunity. You need to write it out. There's going to be some communication about it. Write out, if this opportunity were to come to you, how would you handle it this time? What would you do? If you create this opportunity or you make this opportunity happen, what are you going to do about it? So because it's the end. So a 10 is always the end and a 1 is the beginning. So an ace is the beginning, right? So the wands is about this responsibility or this burden. I actually want to pull a couple more because that's not exactly the energy that I'm feeling. I understand that they're giving me a 10 and they're giving me some wands, but I'm not totally feeling, oh, you know what? I'm going to use these other cards. I want to use these. I'm not totally feeling that it's burnt out or responsibility. Maybe it's that it's your responsibility to make this opportunity happen. And if it happens, how are you going to handle it this time? What's the opportunity look like for you? Wow, this is some super strong energy. I'm so glad I got done with my project early in that class because I would not have wanted to do it in this energy. And I really did it because I had jury duty. So I finished it way early, like crazy early. But I was afraid that I might be stuck on a jury. That'd be my luck during the retrograde. So I was like, I better get this done. And so I did. And I'm so glad because there's no way that I would want to be doing that project during this energy, and I bet you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm clarifying this burden or responsibility that we're putting down. So maybe it's putting down the responsibility or the burden of the responsibility, or maybe you're putting down the burden, or like it feels like a burden that you haven't done anything about it, that it just keeps popping up again. It keeps coming back into your life. You can't get rid of this feeling or this thing. I'm feeling that as well. Okay, so yeah, something that you didn't move forward with when you probably were giving the intuition or the cues, or maybe your angels and guides were trying to say, hey, move forward in this direction, but you were like halting back and like, I don't know, I think I want to take my time with it. You know what I mean? And they're saying the time is right now. It was right then too, but you decided not to do it because you got free will, but the time is good, really good right now, so let's get to it, That's interesting. So the last bit of this is like a lot of happiness because it's the King of Pentacles. So it's a lot of abundance will come out of this if you just take the leap forward and do what it is that you want to do. And that could be like, if you don't have any way to make this opportunity happen, let's take, for instance, the divine, the twin flame journey, the divine feminine and divine masculine. Let's just take that for example. Divine feminines are waiting for the divine masculine to come in, and that could be any gender. Just because it says feminine doesn't mean you have to be a girl or a girl or a woman or something like that. Just because it says masculine doesn't, there's women that are in masculine energy. Like for instance, this is my opinion, but I hypothesize that Will Smith has more feminine energy than Jada does. Jada has more masculine energy. Same thing with the Johnny Depp trial. Johnny Depp has more feminine energy, in my opinion. He has a lot of feminine energy. People see him as being very masculine because he's a man, but he's very creative and he's a lot of feminine energy. And I think Amber Heard, she has a lot of masculine male energy. And I'm not just saying that because, don't get that wrong by saying like, oh, well, you're saying that these people who are so bad, well, they have masculine energy. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the way that they are withholding like the emperor energy, that masculine emperor energy is what I feel from them. And no matter what's going on in their lives right now, that's not even the thing. They're just in the limelight right now, so I can kind of see it. And I think one of the things that it's showing us is that men can be abused by women just as much as women can be abused by men. And women can have a feminine energy and abuse men as well. So please don't get that all out of context, okay? Because that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is I'm just saying, like, look at these stars that are presenting this energy to us that we get to observe and we get to look at it. It just so happens to be that one's an extreme narcissist case and the other one is multiple personality disorder. I don't know what they called her to be, but they're very similar actually. One is a bit a personality trait, narcissism personality trait, and then the other one is actually a mental illness. So, which I'm not sure. I'm not a psychologist in any way. I'm just saying based on what I've seen and my own opinion. Okay, so that there's nobody like jumping on me about that. But so what I do want to say about the whole thing, which is really important, is I do see that it's bringing to light that men, very high achieving men that are very successful, I would consider these men to be very successful men, but they're gentle, and I know that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Let's take that all out of the picture for a moment, because I really believe he was trying to, show his masculinity, like, no, I'm masculine, like, because the relationship has made him feel like he's not a masculine person. Okay, so he's a feminine energy in a masculine body, and so that can be very confusing sometimes for a male. Okay, so but anyway, let's like not even go too much into that, but I think the most important thing out of all of that is to show that men can be abused as well, and women can sometimes be the perpetrators. Okay, so to kind of squash those stereotypes. Anyway, so it's about the burden, the responsibility of putting it down. So let's move into what is the energy that we're like, what are we in? What are we swimming in? Like, who are we right now? Well, we are the Three of Swords. Of course we are. We're in the middle of the retrograde, so that doesn't make, that doesn't surprise me. It's heartbreak, it's emotional pain, it's sorrow, it's grief. It's everybody I've talked to, with the exception of a couple people. And I thought Tauruses were like immune to this right now, because my son's like having a blast. He's like, whatever, and he's just like, he's not even noticing. Where my daughter, she's like having like existential crises happening in her life right now. She's like, oh my God, let this energy be over, right? And then I have a friend who's a Gemini, and she seems to be okay. She doesn't seem to be having anything big going on for her. She had some really cool stuff happen, but nothing, kind of like my jury duty thing where you don't got jury duty. Oh, that's awesome, right? There are some gifts that Mercury retrograde does give you. Like her students came back from the past, and it's just a really crazy story that she told me. And I was like, wow, that's an amazing retrograde story. Like, that's cool, right? So, but majority of people, or if you haven't experienced it yet, it's looking, she is having bad dreams though, so I am a liar. She is having bad dreams. So that is interesting, right? So emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt is where we're at. We're swimming in this energy. I know that it sucks sometimes, but it really, like, her bad dreams are getting rid of that stuff that's hanging on. That she's still, she's dealt with several times, but there's still lingering energy around it. I mean, my daughter having a root canal, that for me, yeah, on one side it was for her, but on the other side it was for me to relive all that trauma, to relive all of that, the feelings I had looking at myself in the mirror and being like, oh my gosh, did my mom have to drop me down the stairs? And it's funny, the intuition I got about that today is really interesting. So I'll share it with you because I've never gotten this before. But God was telling me, yes, it was hard for me to do that, to grow up in that way and to look at myself that way and, always keep my mouth closed and try to smile, without my teeth showing. But they said that it wasn't always just for me. It was a reminder to my mother that she went too far. You went too far in your abuse. You could have killed her. And I think that her being able to see it every time I talked and smiled and everything was a reminder, don't go so far. So she was more covert, of course, about her abuse, but, she still did it, right? But she didn't kill me. Like, it's almost like the universe is like, you're not supposed to kill her, and my mom was afraid of gel, so she was like, I think I went too far on that one. I jacked up her whole mouth, and I know people saw me when I was a kid, and I know they looked at her like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? What's up with that? So yeah, she had her cover story, so don't worry, she got to cover herself up on that one because she's good at cover stories. But anyway, so I'm asking about the pain, and they're giving me the 5 of Swords. It means that there's some conflict. Some of you guys are having conflict. Some of you guys are having disagreements. Some of you guys feel just defeated. You know what I mean? Some of you guys are like, I'm going to win at all costs. Bam! That's the feeling that you have. Okay? It is surrounding some toxic energy. Well, first of all, just living in that hard energy, that heavy energy is toxic in itself. And that's why we don't like to do it. Like, I got a friend, she was like, man, I just want to go for a walk and just get out of this energy. I said, girl, I get you. Like, I know what that feels like. So the devil energy is releasing these limiting beliefs. Like for me, I was like, oh my gosh, when my daughter got her root canal, I said, oh my gosh, is that my fault? Did I not get rid of all that energy around how I felt, growing up with this image, you know what I mean, or whatever was going? Did I not get rid of all of that? So I went inside and thought it was me. I thought it was my fault energetically that I did this and passed a curse down or something. Like, I was struggling so much, exploring my dark thoughts over this. And I tell you, I sat in the dentist chair and cried while she got her root canal. I was crying in the corner. I'm sure the dentist was probably like, what is up with his mom? Has no idea that I've had a lot of trauma. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I couldn't save her. I'm such a horrible mother. And I was like flipping out. I was like the Tangled when she's like, running around and she's like, I'm such a horrible daughter. And she's like rolling around. That's how I felt. Right? There is a lot of hope surrounding this because once we can take a look at it, then we can get rid of it. It goes away. It might come up again if we don't have all of it gone, but it goes away. So like when I do my personal readings, one of the things that I do is I make sure to release trapped emotions for people because they're at the surface. So let's get rid of them, And it's so funny because what they're dealing with in their life is almost to the T, the trapped emotions that I help remove from them. You know what I mean? I don't do it. Your angels and guides do it, but your higher self does it. God does it. I don't do it. I just ask that it be done and have the intention behind it and help that go, right? So, but there's a lot of hope around this because this is what we need to do. So, the energy that's coming towards us right now is this 7 of Wands. And that is, some of you guys are feeling like giving up or going to feel like you want to just give up. You have a lot of lack of confidence because we're still in this really strong energy right now. It's going to feel overwhelming for some of you. And it's okay. Just breathe through it. Know that it's going to end. It's going to lighten up a little bit more as we get into next week. Monday, it should lighten up a whole lot more. Please be careful when you're driving. You're going to start notice that people around you are driving erratically. They're just kind of crazy. People are tailgating people. They're honking at people. They're impatient. There's accidents and now people are upset because they got to move around. And it's just like you can feel the energy and just, for me, I'm not riding my bike outside. I'm not running outside. I'm not doing anything. I will ride a stationary bike. You know what I mean? Like, I am like, to the kids, I'm like, you know what? Like, the energy is so strong let's chill. You know what I mean? Let's like relax through this energy. You know, of course I'm going to work on things. Of course I'm going to do things, but I'm going to be very diligent about what I'm doing. All right. What's hidden that you can't see is, for some of you guys, somebody is making a decision about coming forward. And so that's not everybody. That's a small portion of people. But some of you guys, somebody's making a decision about coming forward. And that's what you don't see. You don't know that this is happening. It's a hidden energy. For the others of you guys, you might be overcommitted. You might be disorganized. So that might be the thing that's you're struggling, is like you just feel so unorganized in this energy. We also have I thought it would be better because it's the Taurus. We're in Taurus right now, Taurus season, and then I thought it would be more grounded. But you know, it's just the retrogrades. I mean, it is what it is. So, all right, let's move on. The obstacle in the way that we're all kind of dealing with right now is learning how to not close off, learning how to. So this card is a card of self-protection. So if it's an obstacle, it means that we're closing down. We're getting nervous because of the energy. And so we're kind of just like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to open myself up. I don't know if I can talk to people. It's like, I don't know. It's like you almost want to hide in your house feeling. And that is actually an obstacle. So let's go ahead and look into that a little bit more. And see what's going on with that. It also could be holding on to your money, not wanting to spend your money. I mean, shoot, with inflation as high as it is right now and prices as high as they are for everything, I get it, right? It's like, oh my gosh, no, not doing that. Like, I think I saw a post that somebody said it used to be cheaper to cook at home. It's like not anymore, right? Okay, let's take a look at this. What's the protection? Okay. So, the protection is because we're not getting the love that we wanted, or maybe the love that we were getting at one point. It's like being restricted or taken away, or they're just busy, or they're in their own crap right now. People feel very separated right now. And there's lots of transformations happening with a lot of people everywhere. And that's why you might be feeling disconnected. But the transformations for some of you guys is good, because we have somebody who's making a decision to finally come forward. Their transformation is helping push them forward towards you. That's not everybody, but that's some of you. And then we have the Page of Swords, which is truth. So basically, the thing that we're protecting ourselves from is the fact that maybe we're not getting the validation or the love or the acknowledgement or the connection that we really, really want right now, because we're struggling and we're like, oh, I just want to connect, you know? But people are tired. They're emotionally drained. They barely have enough emotional capacity for themselves. So they're like, hold on, let me make sure it's recording. Okay, good. So they're like, I can't extend out, or they're just flat out busy. Like their lives got really busy all of a sudden. And then that's making you transform. For those people who that you have a partner that's transforming, or someone in your life that you're transforming, that's transforming, that you want to be a part of your space, that is, you know, there's a lot of truth that's going to be coming out because of this. So this is really important. So even though it's an obstacle, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, which is lots of truth. I like truth. Truth is awesome. Okay. The thing that's helping you is the Hanged Man, although it's upside down. We do have the Hanged Man, and that is the delays are actually helping you. The resistance is helping you. The stalling is helping you. The indecisions are really helping you. I know that sounds ridiculous, but what's happening is because you are being delayed, or you're indecisive, or there's some resistance there, you're having to take note of how you feel. Like my friend said, I don't want to feel. I just want to go for a walk. I'm like, I get it. But this is the time to feel, so that you can get your blessing on the other side. This is the time to dive in. You know, this is the time to use all the energy. It's not just the retrogrades. We got the moon energies, the eclipse energies. We have all these energies just packed into one. And this is the time to feel. You know, like last night I was like, I want to cry myself to sleep so I can wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm done with feeling so sad about what happened. I'm done with that. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. So what do I have to do, God? You want me to cry? You want me to make my pillow wet? Okay, fine. Whatever I gotta do. Because I don't want to do this. 4 days, I'm like, okay. And I know I'm like, oh my gosh, 4 days until we get a little bit of reprieve. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I get it. However, what I need to be doing and what we all, think about we should be doing is taking time to really understand how we feel about this. Taking time to really go in. Some of you guys check in with your inner children, your inner child, and make sure, are you doing okay? I know that was really hard for you to see your child get a root canal after you had 4 root canals. That must have been really difficult for you to sit there and be on the other side of that and think that you had something to do with that when you weren't there on the trampoline, when you were the one who told her, watch out, be careful, so-and-so doesn't have a prefrontal cortex. He's not looking out for your safety. You need to look out for your own. You tried to speak something into that person. You see what I mean? Check in with yourself and be your child inside. My child was crying that day. My child is the one who cries on the pillow, right? My inner child. Because my inner child was the one who went years and years and years feeling less than because the teeth were so ugly. You know what I mean? So that's my Mercury retrograde thing. All right, guys, let's move on. So the action to take is the Ace of Swords. Ooh, that's nice. That's a nice action. That is just being truthful with yourself. Be honest. See the breakthroughs when they come. See your success. See the new ideas that are coming in and the new mental clarity. This is giving you a new perception. Just like the perception when God told me today, that your teeth looking like that was for your mom to remember not to kill you because she was getting too close. So we had to give her an experience so she would remember every day that she's a big woman and you're a 2-year-old. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, she's 27. You're 27 years old, still young in her mind, not realizing that the abuse that she's doing can be long lasting. You could you look at the people that kill their children on accident, and, they throw them up against the wall or something, and the child dies, and they're like, oh, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life. These are the same exact cards. So I pulled on the truth. The truth is, see where you're not moving forward. See where you stopped yourself. See where the lost opportunity is. See where you have stopped yourself from moving forward because you thought it wasn't the right time. This is the right time to be honest with yourself. This is the right time to stop lying to yourself. And we don't do it on purpose. We survive. So we just tell ourselves what we need to tell ourselves so we can move forward, where they're saying, stop doing that. Don't do that right now. What you're going to do is you're going to know this is the time that you make the will move forward because you stopped it too many times before with your free will. So quit. There you go. All right. So this also could be about betrayal, deception, somebody getting away with something, some sort of strategy that somebody used against you, or that you used a strategy against yourself. You betrayed yourself. You were deceptive with yourself. You were the one getting away with crap because you weren't being honest. All right, there you go. So the overall outcome. You're going to be looking at things a whole lot different after this retrograde. After this retrograde, call yourself so-and-so 2.0. You are going to lift up and be like, oh my gosh, how did I not see that before? I'm so grateful. It was crappy. It was nothing I wanted to live through. I was pissed while I was going through it, but dang, did I learn a lot of stuff. I am the shit, I am the shit. It, right? Or whatever. I am it. I'm so amazing. And now I can see more clearly. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. That's what you're going to sing. But you're going to sing it way better than I just sang it. You're going to see that the obstacles are gone. It's beautiful. I'm really excited for you. Okay. Let's talk about what's going on. In your mind, you or somebody, I just think that there's some sort of, you want connection. There it is right there. I was like, this isn't reunion. Some people want reunion, but that's not everybody. But maybe looking back at your past people, you're thinking, maybe I want to reach out to so-and-so. That's not everybody. Some of you guys, somebody else is reaching out to you, right? But, and this is wanting connection. I want that connection. I want to be cheersing with my friends, cheers, I want to be raising the glass and not necessarily drunk, but I want to have the celebration. I want to be in good spirits, and some of us are doing a good job trying to stay in good spirits, even though we feel like we're all over the place with this energy. It's like, oh, but I still feel pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not losing my mind, but I just don't like it. All right, so the intuition is the Four of Cups. And that is the intuition, like you're checking in for your alignment and making sure you're still aligned, but you feel a bit withdrawn in your intuition because there's just too much going on. So you just don't feel as clear in the intuition, but I believe that you will feel that more and more. It's almost like you feel like you're taking a little bit of vacation from your intuition because you're so involved in what's happening in the 3D dimensional reality. It's hard for you to kind of separate and go in and be like, and that's why sometimes when I read for myself, sometimes it's a little difficult because I feel more disconnected when I'm reading for myself. When I'm reading for other people, I'm like, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so and how we are feeling. Some of us are feeling pretty sad. Some of us feel like we had shattered dreams. Yeah, I felt sad and I had shattered dreams. I totally agree with that. Some people are feeling like you have, not everybody, but some of you guys feeling like your family is just broken. Like you're broken. You feel like you have disputes, So that is just like the feeling of the retrograde. Okay, well, let's find out, how do we get through this retrograde? What is some advice from our high vibe flying cards? So I hope this is helping you. If it is, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I want to thank the people who like my channel and come to my channel all the time and, encourage me to do more readings and things like that. I appreciate that. And I'm going to have more time now, so I'll be able to connect with you again. If you were entertained in some way, I already said that. Don't forget to hit, there you go. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you get notified as soon as I post something new. All right. What do we have here? What is our advice? Oh, hot baths. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? I forgot. Okay, so basically, let's read this card. Water is a vibration changer. It calms your nerves and grounds your energy. Soak in hot water, hot bath. Throw in some Epsom salts, maybe some essential oils. The ones I like to use Purify when I'm releasing, but I like to use Balance too. Breathe is also kind of nice. The only problem is you can't put your face in the water because of the peppermint will burn your eyes. One of my favorite ones is Siberian fir because it smells like, Christmas trees. So that's kind of cool. All right, so the Epsom salt will help release toxins from your body. And if you don't have a tub or you lack time, then you can imagine soaking in a tub. That's really powerful because your mind is powerful. What if statements are really important this time too. So get out your journal and change your limiting beliefs to what if statements. What if I met the man of my dreams, right? What if I got that job that you really wanted? What if that person came back into my life? What if about that lost opportunity that we talked about at the beginning of the reading? What if that came true? What would you do? Would you be happy? How would you do it this time? Like maybe you didn't get to kiss someone, or maybe you denied someone in the past and you're like, I really wish that I wouldn't have done that. Or maybe you broke up with someone and you're like, oh, I really would. What if they came back in your life? What would you do now? You know, that's really cool. Okay, so your mind will be will become curious, which in turn will open up new possibilities. So, what if I was appreciated? What if I was loved and adored? What if I felt fulfilled? What if I knew my life's purpose? What if I had enough energy and courage to live out my dreams? What if? I like that. That's awesome. I'll put that right there. That is so cool. All right. For people who have a lover, let's do the divine feminine, divine masculine. I'm going to do 2 rows. I'll do divine feminine first and divine masculine. Let's just find out real quick, because I know some of you guys have people coming in. It does say that, the people from the past. We do have the twin flame journey going on. So let's peek into that real quick for those people who have twin flame journeys going on, or soulmate journeys. It could be a soulmate journey. Let's find out. Where are we at? And I want to find out where we are with the love messages as well. Okay, so somebody's feeling like they could, okay, the divine feminine is saying, I really want to reach out to you, but I can't. You know, I'm energetically, I'm not supposed to be the one to reach out to you. If I reach out to you, you'll probably just run. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit here and wait. But I do see life differently now, different than I ever have seen it. And I think that we could have a better relationship in a different way, because I see things that I didn't see before and that I didn't know before. And I do know it now. And I've tried to let you go. I've tried to not think about you. I've tried to not have you be in my life. I tried to move forward, but there's always something keeping me stuck to you. I feel attached to your energy, and I don't think that I could ever let you go. I don't think that I'm going to be able to ever do that. Although I'm trying to move on in my life and move forward, it's like I still feel attached. So just letting the divine masculine know that. Now the divine masculine says, that the divine masculine is saying that they used to think that they had a lot to lose if they came towards you, but they've had a different perspective now. And they're starting to think that if they don't come towards you, that what they will lose is you. So they're trying in their mind to figure out how can you be a part of their life and still keep what they have for right now, but they do want a relationship. I'm feeling an energy of they almost want to come to the divine feminine and share with them and connect with them and be a part of their lives. Like they're really contemplating on making this be a thing for them, okay? They're saying that they feel so happy with you when you are, and the energy of you is around, or they think of you, or they listen to songs that maybe you guys enjoyed together, or they listen to your voice, or they watch your social media, whatever it is, they feel so happy with you. And that's why they felt like before they had a lot to lose, but now they're feeling like, compared to you, what I have on this side is nothing compared to that, because I am actually happy with you. With what I have on my side, it doesn't fulfill me in the same way. It's good for now, but not forever. And you're forever is what they're saying. The other thing that divine masculine is saying is that they have trouble with intimacy. They've never had a relationship where they could actually be intimate with someone on a really deep level, the way that they know that they could be with you. Where they used to be very scared about this, I feel like they want this more than ever, more than they ever have. And it's like they know that they can have this intimacy with you, but they struggle. And they're afraid that if they it's not really afraid. They wonder if they come forward, will they still struggle with you with intimacy though? Or is it just because of the partners they've had in the past? Or is it just because nobody ever let them be themselves or never let them be intimate? And they're curious to know, what would intimacy, well, they already know what intimacy would be like with you. Like they're showing me, like they already know that intimacy with you is like, you're worth the wait, put it that way. Like intimacy with you is going to be out of this world. And for them, they're like, I used to be really afraid of that, but I'm really curious right now. There's a very curious energy. Like, What would the sex be like? You know, would it be like any other sex that I've ever had before? What would the conversations be like? You know, I know that we're both intellectual, but what would that be like? Would it be so stimulating, you know, that I would feel passion inside just being near you and in your presence? You know, because right now, however they're able to connect with you, there's passion, there's happiness. I've never felt this happy. I've never wanted to be a better person until I've had this connection with you. And I'm wondering if you can help me with the intimacy, is what they're kind of saying. Like, I'm curious to know, could you help me? Could you help me open up and become not so protective over myself? Very interesting, because I've never read that energy from the Divine Masculine as of yet. This is the first time I have seen that. Before I go, I do want to do one more thing for those people who have the soulmate twin flame journey. I want to read, where are we at in the cycle? I just want to see where we're at in the cycle. And I do want to pull some theme cards as well, like all of us. Where are we at in the cycle with the soulmate twin flame energy? Where is the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine? What does the cycle look like for them? Where are we at? Are we getting close to a friendship, a relationship, talking at all? Okay. Okay, so this is where we're at in the soulmate journey. And why it hasn't actually come together yet is because you're both on different pages. You both are doing things that you need to do in your lives right now that have not coincide or have not connected yet, have not... it's like they're working on something in their life and they're putting their energy all into it, and then the divine masculine and the divine feminine is working on something in their life and they're putting all their energy into it. And so it's not that there can't be a relationship, it's just that there's focus in other different places right now, very strong focus. There is something about self-care. Both of you guys are learning how to take care of yourselves, not depending on other people to take care of you, but taking care of your own feelings, your own emotions, your own energy field. You're learning how to think about yourself first before you act. Because I think both of you guys are used to giving yourself to other people so much that you lose yourself. And so there's been a lot that the universe has been working on with helping you to understand you're important too. First and foremost, you're important. And then that will help you guys come together once we start doing more of that. The other thing is there's some distrust between both of you that maybe this won't work out exactly as the way you hoped, or there's some distrust that if it hasn't happened by now, when will it ever happen? There's just some distrust within your relationship to the universe, your relationship to God, distrust in the journey. Like, am I fooling myself? Is this really going to happen? Are we ever really going to be friends? Are we ever really going to be more than friends? Because I think that the way that the life looks right now, it almost seems impossible for both people to come together, is the energy that I feel. And that may not be for everybody, but it's kind of the way that it feels. Like, this feels just impossible. Like, I don't see anything. I don't see any way that this could be the way that I feel inside, like it's supposed to be. It's almost like you feel like you're reading the future, but the future is like 20 years ahead. And so why even tell me right now is kind of the feeling that I feel. Is like, why even tell me that this is going to be happening if it's 20 years ahead or 10 years ahead or 5 years ahead? Why show it to me now if I can't have it right now? So that is interesting. Okay, well, I hope that you liked this reading and entertained in some way. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And on the screen is the original Mercury Retrograde reading, just in case you need to review it and go back to it. So when I do readings, they're for a long period of time. There's lots of overlapping energy. Sometimes it's not happening in your life the moment that I talk about it, but later, like a week or 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it could come into play. So I suggest that people watch their videos over and over and over and over again. So when I start doing sign videos, make sure that you watch your sign over and over and over throughout the month to give you guidance as you move through things. Because what you'll find is, oh my gosh, I didn't think that was even going to come true, but look at the way it manifested. It's very interesting. It did, just very different than what I thought when she first read the reading and read the energy. It's here though. It's here. It just looks different. So anyway, thank you so much. You guys have a great night. Bye.